Hi everyone, Chris here. This video is a visual accompaniment to a radio show I recently recorded where I kind of went digging through the shelves, digging through the crates and pulled out some of just a few kind of avant-garde experimental records because I'd done a recent radio show and the second half I dedicated to some more recent records that I'd picked up that were all kind of heavily experimental, and it was a lot of fun, so I thought, well, let's dig deep. I might do a few more as well, but I thought for those who've listened to the show there might be some interest in seeing the records as well. So these are the ones that featured on this hour-long special. First up, this is Greg Malcolm with Swimming in It, his 2005 album on WaihekeRecords. And Greg Malcolm I've been lucky enough to see play live in this kind of format. I've seen him a couple of times, once with a band but once solo. So when he's solo he plays multiple guitars. He's playing one on his lap, he's seated, he's got another on the floor, and he has all these other pedals and effects and fans, slinkies hanging off which bang to create percussion. It's an incredible show, and he gets these amazing drones going and kind of crazy tunings, and yeah, very, very interesting artist to see and to hear. And this is a great record, Swimming in It, with some tunes of his own plus some interpretations of others as well, like people like Ornette Coleman, Swimming in It. And I've got another record by him as well, a duo with US jazz musician Eugene Chadbourne. Also on the guitar vein, this is Vinegar and Rum. This is a duo record. It's from Dunedin musician Donald McPherson and a Japanese guitarist called Tetsuji Akiyama. They got together in 2004. The record came out in 2006. They recorded this in Donald McPherson's living room, the two of them improvising on acoustic guitar. And so it's set up so that one is in the left channel, the other is in the right channel, where they've used kind of stereo mic so you can hear them playing against each other and with each other throughout this record, the kind of acoustic improvisation. It's on Bo Weevil Recordings. It's a screen printed cover, open cover. And actually I'd like to show quickly the label on this as well, because nice label work there. I believe this is Donald McPherson's only vinyl release. That is the inner notes with the track details. It's 115 of an edition of 500. It's still available, you can still track that down online. Up next was something from a label I've been collecting for a while, Braille Records, which are out of Wellington, mid-80s art rock avant-garde jazz label. They carried on into the CD age, but I'm trying to collect all of their vinyl releases. This is Braille number 6 from the Family Mallet. It's called Bosch's Bottom. This one features saxophone, clarinet, drum, cymbals, trumpet, trombone and tuner. This tuba, did I say tuner? I think I might have. I first heard this in a local cafe. There's one of the cafes on the island has a turntable in store. You can rifle through the records and put something on. I found this, put it on. I don't think the rest of the customers were that impressed, but I then managed to find my own copy, and this was the start of me venturing into collecting the whole of the Braille Records back catalogue. So yeah, kind of interesting, arty, mid-80s avant-garde jazz. What's on the turntable at the moment, I'm not sure if you can hear it, also featured in the radio show. This is a trio: Alistair Galbraith from Dunedin, Jean-Jacques Pellet from France, and David Watson, who put out an album on Braille Records actually, and now is based in the US. He's played with people like Lee Ronaldo from Sonic Youth. I've got another record with him on it, with Lee Ronaldo, one of my favourite bands. The cover artwork on here is by Alistair Galbraith. They composed this piece by correspondence, all creating their own bits, mailing them to each other, and then editing it together into the final piece, which goes through various passages of kind of drone experimental music. I really like it. It's a single-sided LP that was on Last Station Radar, I think was the label. Inbegotten So Invergottom was a duo. Alexander, what is his name? Alexander, is it Tucker? I'm going to say Tucker. Yeah, Alexander Tucker and Daniel Bevan. Daniel Bevan is also the front person of Orchestra's Spheres, who do this great kind of sci-fi syncopated indie music. Invergottom, they put out 3 albums on Thrill Jockey, kind of music concrete, merging into indie rock. So they were based working in the BBC Bush House before they moved out into their new premises. So they had the run of the place, and they used the building and all of the equipment in the creation, sneaking in at night in the creation of these records. This is the second in the trilogy, and they turned not when they went. This is another early 80s kind of Wellington record. Ivan Zagny and Don McGlashan. Don McGlashan of Blam 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 before he went on to things like the Mutton Birds and his incredible solo career. And here with Ivan Zagny, who is an avant-garde musician from the UK who moved to New Zealand and worked with musicians here. It's called Standards on Propeller Records, 45 12-inch, 45 RPM 12-inch of kind of weird, kind of similar in vein to what's on Braille actually, kind of quirky art rock, jazz, avant-garde kind of crossover. So on here, Don McGlashan's playing bass, percussion, horn whistle, and marimba. Ivan Zagny on electric guitars, cello, and so on. And then I finished the show with something quite extraordinary record. Extraordinary really. Dudley Benson is a musician I've admired for a long time. He's got an amazing voice, and he put out some records way back in the 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s maybe, and then he put out a record or a CD called Forest, which was a cappella reinterpretations of songs by Huruni Melbourne, many of which were written originally as children's songs, but featuring English and te reo Māori about New Zealand native birds. And he did this incredible stage show and album based on those songs. I was lucky enough to see it at the local hall, an incredible show. And then this, he came out on vinyl. This is called Deforestation, and this is remixes of some of the Forest material. So you've got and the one I played, there's a lot of guest musicians on here. The one I played had Vashti Bunyan on it, but Matt Moss do a remix on here, and so a number of remixes. So you've got kind of electronic beats, you've got this incredible voice of Dudley Benson, and then people like Vashti Bunyan, and these unique songs. This is a record that can only come from New Zealand, and it's very, very kind of left of centre, really interesting stuff. Every time I listen to it, there's more and more depth to it. So those are the records I featured on show Counting the Beat B-sides. So normally the radio shows have recent new releases, recent reissues, finds from the crates and so on. The B-sides are where I dig a bit deeper into the oddities, obscurities and obsessions in my record collection. So if you've heard the show or not, I hope you enjoyed seeing those records. You can catch up on the videos and the radio shows at facebook.com/countingthebeat. Or if you want to hear the radio shows, mixcloud.com/countingthebeat. Cheers.